Dolphins fans, I want to hear from you. Who is your favorite player on the Dolphins roster right now? Go down in the comments section and let me know. And hopefully it's not one of the 5 players we're about to talk about on today's show, because on this show we are breaking down 5 potential cut and trade candidates on the Miami Dolphins, one of them being Myles Gaskin, because Sony Michel was signed yesterday, and Michel not the only running back that the Dolphins added in free agency. They brought in Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert as well. And that's not the only reason that Gaskin might be a cut or trade candidate, because you would save over $2.5 million getting rid of him, and if he's cut, you would only be taking on a little bit over $21,000 in dead money. Gaskin, the primary running back for the Dolphins last year, so it's wild that we're now in a situation where he might get cut. 612 yards last season, 3 touchdowns, 3.5 yards per carry. Just not good enough to be a primary back, and that's why the Dolphins did this in free agency. A much different running back depth chart. Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, Raheem Mostert, 3-headed monster in the Dolphins backfield, which means there is a near 0% chance that Myles Gaskin remains on this team. In fact, when you go back and you look at the Dolphins' 53-man roster, week 1 of last season, they only had 3 running backs on the roster. Now, teams can really carry anywhere from 3 to 5 running backs. The Dolphins, with what they're going to do offensively, probably going to carry 4 running backs. But is Myles Gaskin going to have any interest in going from RB1 to RB4? I don't know. And is it worth paying him a couple $1 million to do that when you can maybe keep a guy like Salvon Ahmed, who we're going to get to in a second? Before we do, help us get to 25,000 subscribers. We're so close. Need a little bit over 450 more. Help us do that by hitting that big red sub button right now. And if you haven't watched yesterday's video, we made a video right after the Sony Michel news dropped. That's what we do on Dolphins Today. When breaking news happens, regardless of where we're at in the world, we're going to make a video and get you what you need to know as soon as it happens. So that video from yesterday, if you haven't seen it yet, the link is going to be in the comments and in the description. Let's stick with the running backs here. Salvon Ahmed, even before yesterday, was a cut-and-trade candidate. His seat just got hotter. Now, you wouldn't save like a whole lot by cutting him. He's not getting paid much. You would save about $900,000 if you were to get rid of him. But I honestly think when you look at what the Dolphins might do here, there is a better chance that Salvon Ahmed is going to be on this team than Myles Gaskin. Ahmed is more of an RB4. I think Myles Gaskin, might be more of an RB2, RB3 type of player, and why he's probably more likely to leave. You would also save a lot more money getting rid of Myles Gaskin than Salvon Ahmed. Who do you think has the better chance to stay on the team? If it's Myles Gaskin, go down and type MG in the chat. If it's Salvon Ahmed, go down and type SA. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So when you're hit with an ad break here in a few seconds, go down and let me know what you think. Another player that I have listed as a cut-and-trade candidate is Greg Little. We actually have not seen him take a snap in a Dolphins jersey after he was traded from the Panthers last offseason. Didn't play, was placed on IR middle of the season. And when you look at this depth chart, is there going to be room for Greg Little? That is the question. Right now I have him listed behind Teron Armstead as the second left tackle. But when you look at someone like Kellen Diesch, who they just picked up as an undrafted free agent, if Kellen Diesch makes the team, I think there's going to be an odd man out here. Not to mention the Dolphins still might go out and sign J.C. Tretter or another offensive lineman free agent that's left. They do that, it's not going to be just Greg Little on the hot seat either. So Kellen Diesch, I said it before, I'll say it again, he is a lock to make this team. I know he's an undrafted free agent, but with what they're paying him in terms of guaranteed salary, signing bonus, and the talent that he brings to this Dolphins team, I expect Kellen Diesch to make the team, which makes Greg Little a cut or trade candidate. Name a player you think gets traded or cut. Go down in the comments section and let me know. Doesn't have to be one of the 5 names we're discussing here on the show. Go down and let me know what you think. Let's talk about Noah Igbinoghene, another cut or trade candidate, and wild that he's in this situation right now because he was a first-round pick 2 years ago. A disappointing first 2 seasons with the Dolphins after being a first-round draft pick in 2020. Only played in 3 games last year, was inactive 6 times, then just didn't appear in 4 games. And then in 2020, his PFF grade was a 37.1. That ranked 225 out of 232 corners. Hate to say it, I mean, this guy's probably a bust. And I really hope Sam Madison and this Dolphins coaching staff can maybe get him to where he needs to be in his career because the potential's still there, right? He was a first-round pick for a reason. He was really good at Auburn. Now, because of what we're looking at in terms of the dead money the Dolphins would take on if they release Igbinoghene, I think the Dolphins would try to trade him before they release him. Now, the Dolphins would save $3.5 million by cutting him pre-June 1st, but they'd be taking on over $6 million in dead money. That dead money goes down to about $4.5 million after June 1st. I think it's unlikely that the Dolphins move on, but when you look at that depth chart that we just showed, it's possible because the Dolphins really don't need him. I don't think there's a starting role for Igbinoghene on this team for this year. Hopefully he turns it around. Hopefully he can live up to that potential, but there's a chance the Dolphins will move on from this guy before the start of the season. We got a big game tonight. We got a huge game tonight in Miami. The Heat coming home for Game 5 against Philly. They just dropped the 2 games in Philadelphia. The series tied at 2 apiece. You can bet on Game 5. If you think the Heat are going to get back on the right track, you can go to BetUS, 125% deposit bonus. So that means if you put $100 in, you are going to get $125 free cash to bet with. Promo code Dolphins125 at chatsports.com/bet. The Heat a 3-point favorite tonight. The total is 209.5. Going to be an interesting game. I think the Heat get back on track. I think Miami -3, a pretty solid bet. And you can place your bet, chatsports.com/bet, promo code Dolphins125. Another cut or trade candidate. This is actually the last one we're talking about here on the show. It's going to be Eric Rowe. And he's long considered to be on the trade block with Javon Holland and Brandon Jones starting. You would save over $4.5 million if you cut or traded him. And if you cut him, you're only taking on about $525,000. So that's something that you got to look at. With Igbinoghene, it's a lot different. Your dead money is over $6 million. Eric Rowe doesn't have that much dead money, which is why I would not be shocked if Eric Rowe gets moved. You have Holland and Brandon Jones starting. The emergence of those 2 players, you really don't need Eric Rowe. I mean, he's obviously a quality backup. His PFF grade was actually pretty solid last season, but he started every game in 2019 almost. He was the primary starter at the safety spot as well in 2020, but after drafting Brandon Jones, Javon Holland's been solid. I don't really see a world where Eric Rowe is going to get a whole lot of playing time on this team. He just started 4 games last year, so I would not be surprised if Eric Rowe gets moved when you consider the cap space you would clear by getting rid of him. Should the Dolphins cut Eric Rowe? Obviously, they should probably trade him. Try to trade him before you cut him. But would you cut him if you can't trade him? Go down and type your Y for yes or type your in for no down in the comment section. So to recap, we got Myles Gaskin, Salvon Ahmed, Greg Little, Noah Igbinoghene, and Eric Rowe as my 5 potential Dolphins cut or trade candidates. Let me know down in the comments, too. Do you think any of these guys get cut? Do you think they're all on the team next year? Let me know what you think. I really enjoy hearing from Fins Nation down in the comments section. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please go down, hit that big red button below. We're going to be breaking down all Dolphins news and rumors on this channel. Also on my Twitter as well. You can follow me on Twitter at WillScott44. This has been Will Scott and Dolphins Today. Talk to you tomorrow.